Hello Elementor community, this is Dominic from Pick Nature and we will compare some speed performance plugins and see what we come up with being the best one so far for Elementor and a page like this one. So what we have here is our little nice animation here, our WP body moving animation. So we have the plugin installed too. We have this animated divider here which looks pretty odd, but who cares? And we have this animated section over here, some pictures over here, and we have this video at the bottom which loads, so that's perfect. So the very first thing without any plugins enabled is that we will check the page speed. I already did something here, but we can neglect that because this was an odd one. So let's start with Frankfurt because our server is in Amsterdam, I guess, so that is like the closest one. And here we can choose London, UK. So if you guys are wondering, we are using the SiteGround hosting. It's I think the shared hosting account on this one. And yeah, so we start with 44 requests, 921 ms, and a score of 86, page size of 650 KB. Let's see what GTmetrix says, just to get something to compare it with. So we are at 97% already, 80% here, 1.5 seconds, 643 KB, that's around the same, and 44 requests, exactly the same. So that's already not too bad, I guess. But let's see what we can squeeze out of that. So let's jump to the plugins section. And as you guys see, I have Breeze installed, Swift Performance installed. Yeah, this one was for testing purposes, and WP Rocket. So let's start with the first one with Breeze. I activated, and then we can jump directly into it. It's here. So what I did is I just turned everything on: gzip, compression, browser caching, yeah, all the minifications, advanced options. I grouped the CSS and JS files. I cleaned up the database before that, and no CDN. We can do that, but I don't need it right now. Then varnished server, yeah, we don't have that. So yeah, that's about it. Let's save the changes, purge all cage, and let's go for a new one. Retest. So let's see what happens now. I already did this before, so we will see a decrease in the requests, which is about half of it. The load time decreased, page size, and look at that, we get a nice score. But as you can see, in Pingdom Tools, it's only time to first byte, so the site is empty. On 1 second load time, the same is still blank, which means this is a more reliable score over here in 1.5 seconds, okay? So it takes half a second to load that, and yeah. So we get a pretty nice score here too. So that was the first one. Let's go back and disable it now to compare it to something else. Swift Performance. So when we jump to the settings here, this is over here, you can see that yeah, I normalize static resources, no gravitar cache, that's not so important. Bypass Google Analytics, so basically this test is without the tracking ID, but I figured it wouldn't be too fair because I think Swift Performance and WP Rocket are hosting it locally, which means that's pretty cool. Only Breeze is not offering this function, I guess, so yeah, it would be not that fair to compare it with, but I don't think it's too much of an increase. But keep that in mind, guys. If you want to use Google Analytics, you should, yeah, host it locally. That's pretty good. So what I did here is lazy loaded the images, inline lazy loaded the images, optimization wise, minified HTML, disabled emojis. I think this is pretty interesting too. Limit simultaneous threads. If you're on a shared hosting account, which I guess most of you guys are, this could be a nice little option over here. So scripts, I merged all the scripts, the JavaScript too. Nothing fancy going on over here. Same thing for the styles. Merge the styles, critical CSS, print critical CSS inline, bypass CSS import. Yeah, that's what I checked. Caching wise, I enabled caching. It's this cache with PHP. It depends on your server because you could technically do memcache too, but our server is not supporting that. And yeah, I enabled browser cache, gzip. So we have some tweaks, but this is only for pro users. So yeah, exceptions, I didn't do anything here. Here I activated the pre-built archive. I don't know, it was pre-checked, but yeah. Varnish, we don't have that, as I mentioned. No CDN here. So image optimization is only for the pro users. Database optimizer, we don't need to run that, we already did. Critical font only for premium users, okay. And the plugin organizer is a nice feature because we can select where we want to load our plugins, our plugin code, which could take away some bloat if you guys are using some plugins that don't need to be loaded on every page. That is pretty neat here. Yeah, so I think that's about it. We can start testing this one. So retest. At the end of the video, I will show you guys a little nice comparison table with all the 4 screenshots and 3 screenshots. Sorry, it's going to be 3. And yeah, then we can check it out actually. So look at that here. So it's 2.76 seconds, which is a little bit long, but we have only 12 requests and a page size of 423 kilobit. So all of this here is at 100% or at a score of 100. I don't know if that's percent. No, that's the grade, yeah. So let's see what GTmetrix comes up with. So this is actually not bad, but I'm wondering why the load time is so big. Ah yeah, it's because of the wait time of the server, so something is going on here. But let's see how it plays out in GTmetrix. Maybe just to be sure, let's retest that one. It can be helpful to run this 2 times, maybe we'll get a more stable result over here. So yeah, that's what I thought. So the cache was not built there when I tested it, but with the build cache it's 637 milliseconds. And GTmetrix is lagging for some reason. So in the meantime, we can see if everything is displaying correctly, because that's what we have to do. And as we see, this header is a little bit shrinked. I guess it took away some padding here, but that's not a big problem. We could play around with that and add it back. So as you guys saw, the images were lazy loaded. That's pretty cool. And the video, yeah, is working too. So everything works as we wanted. This one is still animating. Our WP body moving animation is playing. That's perfect. So GTmetrix, you got a result for us. Yeah, 2 seconds from London. You have to think about that too. It's not from Frankfurt. 12 requests. It's pretty cool. 421 KB. And why slow? Why is it so bad? Because we don't use the CDN. Yeah. So 2 seconds. I guess it's it could be a little bit faster too with the proper caching. But yeah. Let's try WP Rocket. I'm excited for this one. So WP Rocket is a paid plugin, and let's see what we come up with. So this test here is without any affiliation or anything like that for the plugins. So what we do is we just test them out and see what the best one is. No manipulation or anything like that over here. So let's see. We generated a critical CSS, that's pretty cool. And let's jump into the settings. So I enabled caching for mobile devices. That's the thing here. File optimization. So I minified it, combined Google fonts, remove query strings. The same goes for the CSS and JS. So basically, I checked everything here for full speed optimization. Yeah, lazy loaded images, emojis. I disabled the emojis, sorry. I disabled amped. activated preloading, nothing going on here. Yeah, the database was already cleaned up from the plugins before, so we don't need that. This one is specific about WP Rocket. We can control the heartbeat API, which could potentially slow down our site. So I enabled that. You can also play around with that. You can also disable it if you are not using it. And this is what I was talking about. So we could technically host our Google scripts locally, which I like a lot. And here in the image optimization tab, yeah, you can install Imagify, which I didn't do, but that's an option. So let's check it out. Let's test it here. Retest. So the previous one was 2 seconds and 600 milliseconds on Pingdom Tools. Let's see what this one will bring us. Oh yeah, so as we can see, this is looking a little bit weird, but we are at 560 milliseconds. And the performance is at 93, okay. And GT metrics says that it's at 1.3 seconds, so that's actually a lot faster and only at 15 requests. Whew, that's good. So why is this one looking like that? Let's check it out in the incognito tab. Maybe. Oh no, so it looks like it only rendered on Pingdom Tools. A little bit, yeah, inefficiently, or something went wrong there, but as you guys see, everything works fine. We can refresh it. So yeah, what will happen now is I will jump into the comparison for you guys, and then we will see what the fastest plugin is and how we can improve on that. Okay guys, so this is the summary of our testing here. The first result is the raw result, so without any caching or performance plugin. So let's check the metrics. 900 milliseconds of loading with Pingdom Tools in Frankfurt. In London we are at 1.8 seconds, 44 requests, that's the same. And the page size of 648 or 643 KB, depends. So the second one is WP Rocket. So we have the fastest loading time here with 609 milliseconds. About the same page size, so nothing happened there. Half the number of requests in Pingdom Tools, but we have only 100 milliseconds more load time in London, which is pretty good, and 15 requests over here, and yeah, a lot smaller actually page size, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I think that's pretty good over here. Let's check Swift. Swift has a smaller page size, the smallest one in our test here in Pingdom. Also in GT metrics, 12 requests, so that's the best number of requests too, and a load time of 681 milliseconds, so that's only 80 milliseconds slower than WP Rocket. And here is only 100 milliseconds slower than WP Rocket. So that's pretty good too, concerning that this one's actually free. And Breeze is, yeah, it's not bad. It's at 929 milliseconds, which actually is slower than the raw one. Okay, but we have half the number of requests, but we are faster with the fully loaded page and GT metrics here with 1.3 seconds, 20 requests. So even though it looks worse here, it's still faster, fully loaded than before. So that's pretty cool. And looking at Swift, we are at 100% for the page speed score, and the Y-slow score is at 98, and this is due to the CDN. So if we use a CDN, this will go up too. And on WP Rocket, we have not that good of a score than here with Swift, but actually what truly matters is the load time. And yeah, squeezing out this 80 milliseconds or 100 milliseconds over here is actually a big deal. So yeah guys, if you are interested in even further optimizing this with some asset cleanup plugins or anything like that, you can hit me up in the comments, or if you run into any difficulties, and yeah, you can also comment on that, because there are some minor issues that could occur, but yeah, I think that's already pretty good for Elementor, and it's very consistent with all the plugins, so that's cool. Good job, performance plugin developers, and yeah, keep it going, guys. See you next time.